My wife Kaylee and I are both teachers, and last year we took a year away from teaching to travel the world in search of adventure and perspective. It turned into the trip of a lifetime. We visited 13 countries in 11 months. We traveled by airplanes, trains, buses and boats. We rode motorcycles and bicycles, elephants and camels. We even dove deep beneath the ocean. We started our journey in Indonesia, a country on the other side of the world that is very different from Canada. There, we lived with a family in a small town that had never had a visit from foreigners like us before. We did our best to fit in. We ate their food like spicy fish and fried rice, and tried to get used to the hot, humid weather. For 2 months, we volunteered in a local elementary school that was very different from Bowmore. We also learned to speak Indonesian language because very few people spoke English, and it was really hard to teach using hand gestures and broken sentences. After that, we spent a few weeks exploring some very remote tropical islands in the beautiful north of Indonesia, and then flew to Thailand and bought bicycles. We spent the next 3 months cycling through Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. The people there were so warm and welcoming, despite the fact that they earned very little money and had very few of the comforts we have here in Canada. Cycling was an amazing way to travel because we got to stop in all the in-between places that not all tourists get to visit. We cycled anywhere from 60 to 140 kilometers per day and went over 4,000 kilometers in all. It was one of the hardest things we'd ever done together. But, as another cycle tourist we met said, there are no limits. You make the limits. We tried to remember that mantra throughout the remainder of our trip whenever things got difficult. While we were riding our bikes in Laos, we discovered an amazing organization called Big Brother Mouse. They produce storybooks for children in local languages. There is no other publisher who produces storybooks in Lao language, and indeed, most children in this country have never seen, let alone owned, their own picture book. We bought 2 packages of books to bring on the road with us, and we stopped in at 2 schools to give away the books. It was a truly magical experience to see the kids crowd around the books, an entirely new experience for these children. It reminds us not only of the beauty and importance of books, but also how fortunate we are in Canada to have so many. If any of you are interested in learning more, or how you can help them, you can come talk to me or visit their website, bigbrothermouse.org. Next up, we flew with our bikes to India and cycled down the southeast coast along beautiful rural roads to the southernmost point of the country. Then, we sold our bikes and spent a month traveling by train, learning some yoga, and exploring the fascinating country of India. We hopped off the train in the north of India in a place called Rishikesh, where we volunteered at an orphanage for 2 months. The name of the orphanage is Ramana's Garden, and it provides a safe home, food, medical care, and clothing for over 50 children that do not have families of their own. These kids do everything themselves. They grow their own vegetables and look after their own chickens, cows, and goats, which provide milk and eggs for everyone on site. All in all, it's a truly incredible place. Again, if you are interested in learning more or supporting Ramana's Garden on your own or with your class, come talk to me. After we left India, we spent 2 weeks hiking in Nepal beside some of the highest, most beautiful mountains in the world. And then we flew to Kenya in East Africa, where we went on a 3-day safari in the Masai Mara. We saw all sorts of animals there. And then we got on a 28-hour bus to go to northern Uganda. In northern Uganda, we lived in a town called Lira, and we volunteered for a month and a half with Children of Hope Uganda, an organization founded by a passionate Toronto teacher. They help children who were formerly stolen by Joseph Kony's Lord's Resistance Army and forced to be child soldiers in a war that lasted over 20 years. The organization now supports hundreds of kids to go to school and has found all of them a home, as many of them are orphans. They have also taught the families how to make jewelry and other crafts that are sold here in Canada to keep the organization going. All in all, we shared an unforgettable, formative, inspirational year. I would encourage all of you to seize any opportunity that comes your way to give back to communities through volunteer work. However, I also believe in the saying that charity starts at home. You do not need to board a plane and fly to a different country to make a difference in the world. It starts by being a bigger person every day with every person you know, looking out for others and always going that extra mile to help out your friend and stand up for what you know is right and fair. Remember, your next action could change the world, so make it a good one.